Hello, radiant soul of Leo. If these words have found you today, on May 14th, 2025, trust that it is not by chance. The universe is speaking to you now, not in thunder or storm, but in a quiet, unwavering nudge. A whisper that says, it's time. Time to shed the layers you've outgrown. Time to stop clinging to stories that no longer honor who you've become. You've been carrying so much, haven't you? Responsibilities, expectations, maybe even the weight of dreams that no longer feel like yours. And yet, beneath all of it, there's been a knowing, a feeling that something is shifting, that something is calling you forward. Today is not just another day. It is a portal, an invitation, a turning point. The energy surrounding you now is sacred. It asks you not to push, but to surrender, not to fight, but to trust. And as we walk into the deeper layers of today's message, through your tarot, your emotions, your relationships, and the whispers of destiny itself, let this be your beginning, not a reaction, a remembrance of the life you were always meant to live. And now, as the stars unfold their sacred geometry overhead, we step into the deeper message of this day, not through cards, but through the sky itself. May 14th carries a celestial vibration of closure and courage. It is a day when the cosmos asks you, Leo, to pause and witness the silent shifts happening within and all around you. Saturn's presence in Pisces is stirring the emotional tides, and for you, it highlights the burdens you've carried far too long. These may be unspoken expectations, obligations you've outgrown, or roles that no longer fit. Like stones in your backpack, they've slowed your stride. Today you are being called to gently lay them down, not with guilt, but with grace, because letting go isn't giving up, it's rising up. Meanwhile, a supportive trine between the Sun and Pluto brings transformation that is both inevitable and liberating. You are stepping out of an old skin. What once defined you no longer does. You are not who you were last year, last month, even last week. The cycle is ending, Leo, and what follows is a beginning you've longed for but perhaps feared to claim. Let the doors close. The new chapter needs space to breathe. Venus, now brushing shoulders with Mercury, reminds us that love, true love, cannot thrive in silence. Communication is everything. Whether this is a relationship in question or a connection waiting to deepen, now is the time to speak what has long been held back. Misunderstandings can only dissolve in the presence of honesty, and today's skies support that honesty with tenderness. Mars and Aries might stir up old frustrations, inner conflict, or petty arguments, not to cause harm, but to show you where your energy is being scattered. Be mindful. Not every battle is worth fighting. Choose where your fire goes, Leo. You are not here to waste your light. And then there is joy. The moon moves through sociable Gemini, encouraging reconnection. Laughter, shared stories. This is your sign that healing doesn't always arrive in silence. Sometimes it shows up in celebration, in voices raised together, in cups raised high to life and to one another. And finally, as Jupiter expands your vision of the future, you are reminded, forward is the only direction now. Even if you don't see every step ahead, your heart knows where it's going. Stay steady, stay devoted. You are not chasing victory, you are becoming it. When it comes to your finances, dear Leo, I want to speak to you not just as an astrologer, but as someone who understands the quiet weight of uncertainty, the kind that creeps in when the bills pile up, when your efforts don't seem to stretch far enough, and when abundance feels like a distant promise rather than a present truth. But hear me now. This moment is not the end. It is a transition, a sacred shift. Financially, you may have felt stretched thin, not just in your bank account, but in your spirit. Saturn's quiet influence has likely made you more aware of your limitations and perhaps even more cautious than usual. But beneath that, something far more powerful is stirring. Because your sense of worth and your relationship with money is being rewritten, not overnight, but cell by cell, thought by thought. I've seen this pattern before, in many souls like yours. When the universe wants to open new doors of abundance, it first asks us to clean the rooms we already live in. Have you been spending out of habit, not intention? Have you held on too tightly or spent too freely as a way of avoiding something deeper, a fear of scarcity, or perhaps even a fear of success? You see, the money itself isn't the root. The mindset is. Today, the skies suggest that an opportunity is approaching, one that brings financial relief, yes, but only if you're willing to meet it halfway. And that means changing the way you view your own value. Start with the small shifts. Track your spending with love, not fear. Choose intentional generosity over compulsive giving. Learn the difference between investing in your growth and spending to numb discomfort. These acts are not mundane. They are rituals, and rituals create reality. I want you to know that what's coming is brighter than what's been. Jupiter's long arm is beginning to stretch into your house of prosperity, and when that happens, things can accelerate, especially if you're ready. So take this time now to prepare the soil. A new harvest wants to bloom, but it cannot root itself in outdated beliefs about lack, guilt, or fear. You are not meant to struggle, Leo. You are meant to shine, even in how you earn, how you spend, and how you receive. Trust that the tide is turning, not because you forced it, but because you finally aligned with the frequency of wealth that has always been yours. Leo, when it comes to your career, I feel something stirring beneath the surface, like a lion pacing behind closed gates, aware that the cage is no longer big enough for the size of its spirit. I want to speak to that part of you, the part that knows you're meant for more. Maybe you've been loyal to a path that once felt aligned, but lately has begun to feel narrow, draining, or even invisible. Maybe you've outgrown the version of yourself that said yes to this job, this routine, this environment, and maybe you've stayed because it felt safer to wait than to risk stepping into the unknown. But here's what I see in today's cosmic map. The universe is nudging you toward a reckoning, not a breakdown, but a breakthrough. It's time to take a hard, honest look at what you're building and ask, does this still reflect who I am becoming? Not who you were 5 years ago, not who your resume says you should be, but who you are now, in your bones, in your brilliance, in your unspoken dreams. With Mars fueling momentum and Pluto offering profound transformation, this is not the moment to settle. It's a time to realign. You don't need to throw everything away, but you do need to examine where your energy is leaking. Are you overgiving to a workplace that underappreciates you? Are you trading your creativity for predictability? If so, today's alignment is offering you a mirror and a choice. I've seen this kind of energetic portal before. The ones that whisper, wait just a little longer, but also start making plans. If you've been dreaming of a change, a new direction, a promotion, a creative venture, or even a complete reinvention, don't dismiss those dreams. They are not distractions, they are directions. And you, Leo, have never been meant to play small. But here's the truth. None of this will manifest if you move in circles of doubt. Your greatest breakthroughs will require focus, not just fire. Discipline, not just desire. This is a time to put systems in place, refine your vision, polish your skills, and most importantly, protect your energy from the noise and distractions of those who don't see your light. So, if you're feeling restless, I understand. It's not dissatisfaction, it's destiny calling. And I promise you, if you stay true to what ignites you, and if you are willing to do the work with heart and consistency, The doors you thought were closed will begin to open, not by force. You were born to lead, Leo. Make sure you're leading your own life first. When it comes to love, Leo, I feel the tenderness in your heart, the part of you that longs to be seen, not just admired, but truly understood. And today, the cosmic energy surrounding you is whispering that the walls you've built to protect yourself might also be the very things keeping love from reaching you. I want to speak gently now because I know how deeply you feel, even when the world doesn't always notice. You give your heart in bold, beautiful ways. Sometimes too much, sometimes too fast, and sometimes not at all, because you've been hurt before. But today's sky, with Mercury harmonizing with Venus, is asking for a different kind of courage. The courage to speak clearly, kindly, honestly. If there's someone from your past you've drifted from, a lover, a friend, or a connection that once mattered deeply, this could be a powerful time for healing, not necessarily to rekindle what was, but to clear the energy that still lingers. You may be surprised how much peace can be found in one sincere conversation. Not to prove a point, but to open a door. And for those of you who are navigating a relationship now, especially one that's felt strained or emotionally distant, I invite you to soften. The stars are reminding us that connection isn't built on perfection, but on presence. What hasn't been said? What truth are you afraid might scare them away? Sometimes it's exactly that truth that brings us closer. Today is a beautiful day to speak from the heart, not from fear. And if you're single, Leo, I feel something shifting, a quiet alignment forming on the horizon. It may not come as a grand romantic gesture or a storybook moment, but it will come as resonance, recognition, that feeling of, oh, there you are. But this meeting won't happen if you're hiding behind the pain of what was, or clinging to a version of love that no longer fits who you are. So open the window just a little. Say yes to the small invitations. A conversation, a glance, a message you weren't expecting. Love has a funny way of showing up when we stop chasing and start allowing. And today, the universe is asking you to allow. Not every relationship will last forever, but every relationship teaches us something eternal about ourselves. Trust that whatever unfolds now is not random. It's part of your soul's dance with destiny. Whether you're healing, deepening, or beginning again, let your heart lead the way. Leo, let's talk about your well-being. Not just the physical body you move through the world with, but also the emotional terrain you carry within. I know you've been strong for so long, holding things together, showing up with fire even on the days when you felt like flickering embers inside. But today I want to remind you that strength doesn't always mean holding on. Sometimes, true power lives in the release. Lately, you may have felt more tense than usual, like your shoulders are silently carrying stories that no one else can see. Maybe it's stress from work, worry about finances, or emotional weight from unresolved conversations. Or perhaps it's subtler than that, a quiet restlessness, an unease you can't quite name. This is your body's way of asking you to come home. Not to fix everything at once, but to soften, to exhale. Your nervous system needs care, Leo. Your spirit does too. Take time today to ground yourself. Even if it's just a short walk in fresh air, a few minutes with your hand over your heart, or a slow cup of tea in silence. You don't have to earn your rest. You don't have to justify your need for peace. Your health, both mental and physical, is the foundation from which everything else grows. And you deserve to thrive, not just survive. If you've been putting off the small rituals that nourish you, exercise, sleep, stretching, journaling, joy, this is your sign to return to them. Don't wait for your body to shout. Listen while it's still whispering. You are not a machine. You are stardust wrapped in skin. And you're allowed to tend to yourself like something sacred. Now, about your family and the people closest to your heart. I sense that something may have gone unsaid recently. A misunderstanding, a misstep, or perhaps an emotional distance that widened without anyone meaning for it to. The Five of Wands energy still lingers in the ether, that friction between people who love one another but sometimes speak in mismatched languages. But here's the beauty. The energy of healing is also here, and it arrives not through dramatic gestures, but through gentle truth. If there's a conversation you've been avoiding, a connection you've missed, but been too proud or too hurt to reach for, this is your cosmic permission to try. Just one open-hearted exchange can shift everything, and even if the other person isn't ready, you will be lighter for having spoken your truth with grace. The universe supports reconciliation now, but only if it's rooted in honesty and humility. Let go of needing to be right. Lead with love. You'd be amazed how often the people we thought were miles away are actually waiting for us at the door, just on the other side of vulnerability. And if you've been feeling disconnected or lonely lately, Leo, please know that you are not forgotten. You are loved more deeply than you know. Friendship, warmth, laughter, they're returning. It begins with one moment of courage, one act of presence. And as we close today's sacred message, let's look at the signs and symbols the universe has gently placed along your path. The energetic allies, the colors that speak your frequency, and the numbers that carry silent whispers of alignment. Today, Leo, your cosmic chemistry burns brightest with Sagittarius and Aries. These fire signs understand your rhythm, not just your roar, but your radiant heart. Sagittarius brings expansion, adventure, and laughter that heals. They remind you to look up when life feels heavy. Aries, on the other hand, mirrors your boldness. Together, you ignite courage, the kind that doesn't ask for permission to shine. But there's something quietly electric between you and Aquarius today. An intellectual connection, a meeting of minds that might challenge you, stretch you, or open you to new perspectives. You may not always agree, but with Aquarius, there's depth, possibility, a different kind of magic. Your lucky color is yellow, the hue of sunlight, optimism, and divine clarity. Let it into your space, your clothes, your awareness. Yellow is not just a color, it's a vibration, one that says you are allowed to feel good again. And as for the numbers, trust the rhythm of 7, 19, 31, 43, 55, and 67. Whether they appear in small ways, a timestamp, a receipt, a page number, or in something more significant, let them be your reminders that the universe is near, guiding, nudging, affirming that you are not wandering, you are walking a path that was always yours. Let the signs guide you. Let the fire inside you rise. And above all, keep shining, Leo. The world is better for your light. So here we are, Leo, at the edge of today's message, but not the end of your journey. If these words found you, it's because your soul was ready to hear them, not to be told who you are, but to remember what you've always known deep down. You are not lost. You are rising. You've walked through heavy seasons with grace. You've loved even when it was hard. And now, the universe is asking you to trust again. In yourself, in the path unfolding, in the silent miracles already making their way to you. This moment isn't about rushing ahead or chasing what's next. It's about anchoring in your truth, letting go of what no longer resonates, and choosing again and again to show up as your whole, radiant, unapologetic self. I'm so honored to walk beside you, even if just for a few minutes of your day. And if something I shared today touched your heart, I'd love for you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your voice, your light, your presence, it matters here. Until we meet again, Leo, stay bold, stay tender, and never forget, the stars can guide you, but only you can walk the path. And I believe with all my heart, you're walking it beautifully.